There's a heartbeat in the heartland. You can hear it in the steel in the fields. It's the father with the long day's labor. It's the mother who never ever yields. It's the soldier learning life again. It's the kid with the flag in his hand. It's the quiet ones who keep this country standing on freedom's land. They said the power was theirs to keep, but they forgot who we are. We're the millions they don't see coming, the ones who carry the star. We're gonna take America back, not with anger, with courage they can't understand. We're the builders, the givers, the ones who stand when others stand back. For the people, by the people, citizens serving, leaders rising at last. This is a moment, this is a call. Together we take America back. There's a promise in the sunrise, made in sweat and hope and prayer. By the trucker on the highway line, by the nurse still working there, by the hands of urban and rural America, teaching kids to stand honest and strong, by the voices that were quiet once, but quiet for far too long. We're not waiting for kings or heroes. We're the ones who hold the truth. We're the backbone of this nation. Every woman, every man, every youth. We're gonna take America back, not with anger, with courage they can't understand. We're the builders, the givers, the ones who stand when others stand back. For the people, by the people, citizens serving, leaders rising at last. This is the moment, this is the call. Together we take America back. Raise your voice for the fallen. Raise your hands for the free. Every oath that we ever spoke still lives in you and me. We're the guardians of the promise. We're the keepers of the flame. And the world will know our children's worth when they remember our name. We're gonna take America back, not with anger, with courage they can't understand. We're the builders, the givers, the ones who stand when others stand back. For the people, by the people, citizens serving, leaders rising at last. This is the moment, this is the call. United we rise and America stands. Because the people took America back. Stand up, step forward, lead where you live. The nation follows its citizens, always has, always will.
Well, I was going to play my opening animation, but how do you follow such an amazing tune as that? Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Vandersteel, and welcome to Steel News. You know, we are living in a time when the systems people once trusted are clearly failing them, and I think most Americans can feel that. Even if you guys can't truly speak it, articulate it, but we all know that there's this growing sense that authority doesn't carry the same weight it used to, that control is slipping, and that the idea of waiting for permission from government, from institutions, from anyone in a position of so-called power is becoming more and more meaningless by the day. The district of corruption, for example, all the agency and bureaucracy. Well, that truth is that it's not actually happening out there by accident. You guys are waking up. We didn't just suddenly lose our way as a country. Our country, well, it was gradually re-engineered over time, pulled away from the framework of a constitutional republic. You guys know me so well. I must hold this book up, this document right here, every single show. I talk about it every single time. We have been distorted from the framework of a constitutional republic and reshaped into something driven by bureaucracy, administrative control, and systems that no longer truly answer to we the people. And so that's why many people feel disconnected. They know something is clearly off. They know their voice isn't carrying the weight that it should. And they know the system isn't responding the way it was designed to. But when people tend to get stuck, and where we typically just sort of freeze is we're waiting. We're waiting for leadership. We're waiting for a solution. We're waiting for someone else to step in and fix what's broken. Folks, that's the trap. Because if you want real leadership, it was never meant to come from some title or position. This is the reason why we talked about the original 13th Amendment, was to make sure we never had titles of nobility serving us, because they couldn't possibly be public servant leaders. They consider themselves above the fray. It was never supposed to depend on authority being handed down or permission being granted, because real leadership begins the moment someone decides to take responsibility. Remember, God gave us a brain and some discernment. So we got to take that responsibility before any of these other things are ever going to show up. The idea that sits at the core of a very powerful doctrine called citizen servant leader, which is really a field manual for times like the ones we're living in now, times when control is uncertain, authority is inconsistent, and permission simply isn't coming. What makes this framework so important is that it doesn't try to motivate people or teach them how to build influence. We're going to be talking about a book. We're going to be talking about a lot of things, but this book focuses on something much more foundational: the behaviors that actually stabilize systems when they're under pressure. And I think we all feel a lot of pressure, because what you're going to learn today is how to be challenged, how to carry responsibility early, how to speak truth, even when there's a cost attached to it. I see it every day in social media when I speak truth to this so-called power. You know, we get attacks, bots, we get deplatformed, whatever it is, but you have to keep going. You have to continue to step forward when others hesitate or when others stay silent, because silence and passivity are not neutral. They are conditions under which systems begin to erode. Silence is consent. And at the same time, it reminds us that rebuilding doesn't require grand gestures. It starts with very small, disciplined, consistent actions taken by people who are willing to show up and do what needs to be done without waiting for approval. And ultimately, that's how you restore anything, whether it's trust, structure, or even a nation. So today we're going to have a conversation really about moving beyond frustration, because I think we're all very frustrated, and we want to move into something far more important, which is action. Because at this point, the question isn't just what's wrong with America. Most people already understand that on some level. The real question is what each of us is going to do about it and what we're willing to do about it. Joining me this afternoon is Stephen Kuhn. He's a decorated United States Army combat veteran, an international speaker, author, and a leadership consultant who brings a varied, should we say, grounded and practical perspective in this conversation. He's the co-author of Citizen Servant Leader, a doctrine for leadership when control, authority, and permission are no longer guaranteed. This is a book that I think you're going to find it speaks directly to the moment we're in and the challenges people need to, take on in terms of rethinking what does leadership actually look like when traditional structures begin to break down, or I think they're corrupt structures, the corruptocrats in DC. So I'd like to welcome Stephen to the show. Stephen, it is an honor to have you here. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule, because you're a man who's I see all over my Instagram feed all the time now, and I love it.
Thank you so much. And you broke it down so well. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, listen, you have taken the bull by the horns. And as I said off camera a little bit ago, about a year ago, you popped up in my Insta feed. And that is my guilty pleasure. I don't have a big presence on Instagram, not compared to X and other platforms, but I like it because that is my sort of, when I need to just wake up and just ease into the day, I usually follow a lot of farm animal stories and things like that, because it's peaceful and serene. And out of nowhere, somehow the algorithm knew who I was and sent you to me. And I said, this is great. I love what he's doing. So I've been following you along. And I said, I've got to reach out. And lo and behold, Mel K got us in touch, which was wonderful. And now here you are. So let's start at the top. What drove you to build this platform and start speaking out before you even built the platform? Let's start with your speaking out moment. What got you to just pick up that cell phone and talk to America, talk to the world?
Well, it was December 24 when my wife's Ukrainian. December 24, the United Kingdom decided to send rockets to Ukraine so that they could shoot them into Russia. And I was like, what the heck is going on here? Why are we starting World War III? And I did a video. And it was just off the cuff, just real quick. And Alex Jones shared it. And then Jimmy Dore, I believe, shared it. A couple other people shared it. It got like 30 million views. Well, I didn't do anything with that. And about 30 days later, no, it was actually longer, 45 days later, I decided to make version 2. So this is what's happening. We got our parents out. They're now here with us. And, that went viral, another 30 million, 40 million views or whatever. And so I decided, maybe I should do a video a day. And because of my background in politics since 2003, internationally, but mostly in Europe as an American, mostly in Europe, I had sort of insider knowledge. I have a lot of contacts in different governments because I've advised just about every government in Europe, including the parliaments, European Parliament, British, and that kind of stuff. And I said, just let me use this information and feed the American people. And as I was doing this, I was saying, man, nothing's happening, nothing's changing. We can't change the top because we're here. And the only way we can change is if citizens step up, and we can take America back if we do that. And when I said take America back, it sort of hit a chord with a lot of people. And my followers went from, I don't know, I had like 11,000 followers. And now I'm at 540 or whatever I'm at on Instagram, 1 million across all the platforms.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, we as citizens, we have to be the servant leaders of our own community and lead where you live. That's how we won. That's how we won the Constitution or the revolution. We didn't go out in the fields and line up in rows like the British wanted us to and get shot in the chest. We were behind the bridges and barns and the walls because that was our territory. We knew that territory and we led where we lived. This is a modern version of that, but we're doing it without weapons.
So I want to draw your attention back to 2017. I'm going to play something very quickly here. This was the inauguration with President Trump, and this is a very famous clip. I just downloaded it again today and re-clipped it, but I think it's going to lend itself nicely into this conversation we're going to have. So let me just bring this up here.
Today's ceremony, however, has very special meaning because today we are not merely transferring power from one administration to another or from one party to another, but we are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to you, the people. For too long, a small group in our nation's capital has reaped the rewards of government while the people have borne the cost. Washington flourished, but the people did not share in its wealth. Politicians prospered, but the jobs left and the factories closed. The establishment protected itself, but not the citizens of our country. Their victories have not been your victories. Their triumphs have not been your triumphs. And while they celebrated in our nation's capital, there was little to celebrate for struggling families all across our land. That all changes starting right here and right now, because this moment is your moment. It belongs to you.
So essentially, we got excited about a president that talked to us and said he was restoring power back to you, the people, we, the people, and that he was going to essentially, redistrict the power structure out of the globalist elites and put it back in the people's hands. So that was in 2017, January 2017. Where are we today in terms of accomplishing those goals, and how is what you're doing and what your vision is going to facilitate that?
We're further away than we were then, I would almost say.
I would agree.
We've been told to focus on that level of governance, and we have no influence on that level of governance. And so through the period, I realized that the only way we can take America back is at the local level, and that's the precincts. Right. The precinct seat is the highest political level in your county, in your zip code. And the precinct seat decides who gets the money, who even gets to get on the ballot in the Republican or the Democrat or the Independent. And over 100,000 of them are vacant right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was just talking to someone in Texas, in Austin. They have 300 precinct seats. 150 of them are vacant.
That's incredible.
Vacant. So, and this is in Texas, a fighting state, right? So,
right.
And what we do is we have on the website, we have a seat finder. You click on it, put in your zip code, and it shows you all the seats that are empty in your zip code. You can go to that and click directly, read about what each seat does. Yeah, go ahead and fill it out. Read what each seat does. There you go. Mm-hmm. And it tells, for instance, city town council, and it shows you the 3 websites where we get the information. And then there's actually a green button there where it says apply. right?
Right.
And it tells you what you're responsible for, what the workload is, all this kind of stuff. And you
Right.
can literally click on it and apply and be in that seat. If it's uncontested, often within a week or two, and suddenly you're in government. So, we've placed over 40 people in the last 30 days, 45
That's
days.
incredible. And I
Yeah.
just want to call your attention to something. There have been 30 state legislature elections since President Trump was placed into office for the second term. And how many do you think were Democrat and how many do you think were Republican?
I have no idea.
All of them went to the Democrat Party.
Yeah, there you go.
That's where the heads is. That's where the head of America is. That's where, I mean, Americans are either checked out, they're unhappy because they feel like we're further away from the goals of what President Trump articulated in January 2017 on the podium that day at the Capitol. And they don't feel like they have a way to solve the problem. So what I really want to draw attention to is you are solving the problem right here, Stephen, by simplifying the process and demystifying it, which is what most people don't have a clue how to even engage in this. And you're saying, hey, point, click here and fill out an app and boom, and now you're in government.
Exactly. And the point is most people don't even know what a precinct seat is.
So let's break down the precinct seat. I want people to understand what that is.
Well, they're called different things in different states: precinct seats, precinct captains, chairs, or whatever you want to call them. In a precinct, they are responsible for your party in your zip code. So they're the ones, like I said, they're the ones who put people on the ballot, or almost the gatekeepers. And here's what happens is when you have a vacant seat, no one's going to talk about it, because let's say you have 4 seats in your county, in your voting district. 2 of them are Democrat, two of them are Republican. The Republicans are empty. The Democrats do one of 2 things. They either don't tell anybody they're empty, so they could rule everything on their own, or they get 2 Democrat friends to register as Republicans, and they take those Republican seats, and then they run everything down the Democratic sort of gamut. I haven't seen that happen with Republicans yet. I'm sure it's happening somewhere, but I haven't seen it. And so what this does is it puts you, I have a guy, Gary Garrison, who is from Maricopa County of all places. And he found out there was an empty precinct chair. So he applied and he got in with like 2 days. And within a month, he spoke to the governor, the guy running for governor, the Senate, the state Senate. He spoke at the state capitol within a month. And he said, Stephen, I'm an entrepreneur. I never dreamed. I didn't even know what a precinct seat was. And here I am representing my voting district in the state capitol. And it gave him not only, and this is where you got to look at it. This isn't just about serving the people. It's about informing the people.
That's exactly right.
All of this information about all the bills and all the things that are going on in Washington, Epstein files, all that kind of stuff, we have no influence on that. We need to lead where we live, and that is your house, your street, your city, your county. That's where we live. There's over 300,000 seats that are empty right now, including mayors, uncontested, empty seats, city councils, special boards, special councils, school boards. Library boards, they're empty all across America, and with 3,147 counties in America and 300,000 empty seats, if we can get 10 people in each county, that are following tab or following sort of the mission, we can take America back, and in a big way. And this is how Dearborn, Michigan happened. They kept it quiet. They took the seats. They didn't tell anybody. They captured the entire government through these vacant seats that no one was stepping up for, because we're not told what they are. We're not told that we're capable. So I wrote those 5 books. The four of them are out. One of them's coming out next. And those 5 books take you through the entire process of becoming a citizen, servant, leader. The first one's identity. The second one is getting out of debt, because that's leverage. The third one is health, wellness, and resilience. That's your body is your mission, right?
That's right.
And then you have information warfare, how to protect your family and the republic from the information and the propaganda. And the 5th one is incorruptible. And these are all real stories that I personally went through, trying to be corrupted, trying to be was ousted in different government agencies or different governments around the globe, because I was making too much noise and making too much sense. And so these are true life stories. None of this is theory. And then those 40 people that got the seats are like, Stephen, what do we do now? So I wrote another book. Now you have the seat. It's a 90-day plan, step by step, with tear out cheat sheets and little wallet cards that you can put in your wallet, so that when you're in these meetings, you know what to say, how to stay calm, how not to be corrupted, how to be the one that stands up in the room without being the loudest and where everyone pays attention to. These are the things that matter to us, because when you get emotional, you lose, whether you're right or not. We need to learn to take what we know, put it in coherent language, like you did at the beginning, very, very, very well presented, and then bring it to
Thank
the
you.
point. What
Right.
happens? What happens when they try to corrupt you? What happens when they call you out in public? What happens when they blame you for something and try to trap you? It's all in that book. It tells you how to deal with it, how to get past it, and how to win.
Well, listen, Incorruptible is probably the one I'm going to start with, and I'll tell you why. I'm going to show you something that I think is going to horrify you, frankly. I just came across this morning. I live in South Florida. This vice mayor of Lake Worth, Florida, is about maybe 35, 40 minutes from my house. And this is how they started a meeting recently in their actual, council meeting. This is just unbelievable. Can you see this okay?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Instagram, leave it to them. Whoops. They're starting the invocation, and the vice mayor is giving it. And you'll see people leaving the room right now. A lot of people in this meeting are now leaving the room for the vice mayor to give the invocation. Shocking.
Duly noted. Our collective atheism, which is to say loving empathy, scientific evidence, and critical thinking, leads us to believe that we can create a better, more equal community without religious divisions. May we pray together. Mother Earth, we gather today in your redeeming and glorious presence to invoke your eternal guidance in the universe, the original creator of all things. May the efforts of this council blend the righteousness of Allah with the all-knowing wisdom of Satan. May Zeus, the great God of justice, grant us strength tonight. Jesus might forgive our shortcomings, while Buddha enlightens us through his divine affection. We praise you, Krishna, for the sanguine sacrifice that freed us all. After all, if Almighty Thor is with us, who can ever be against us? And finally, for the bounty of logic, reason, and science, we simply thank the atheists, agnostics, humanists, who now account for 1 in 5 Americans and growing rapidly. In closing, let us, above all, love one another, not to obtain mythical rewards for ourselves now, hereafter, or based on superstitious threats of eternal damnation, but rather embrace secular-based principles of morality and do good for goodness sake. And so we pray, so what? Thank you, Council.
Please rise for the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Vice Mayor.
Is that just unbelievable?
What the hell was that?
That was the vice mayor of Lake Worth, Florida. No, that's real. That's the vice mayor of Lake Worth, Florida. That is directly across the water from where President Trump sits at Mar-a-Lago.
That looks like someone who needs attention, who needs significance in life. One of the 6 essential human needs is significance, and it looks like he's looking for it. I don't even know what to say to that. I don't even know what to say to that. Look, you don't have to be religious. You don't have to pound on a Bible. You don't have to.
I agree.
That's not what it's about. But our country was founded on it. It's on our money. We were founded on it. You swear on the Bible.
Right.
And in our courts and in our systems, and when you become president and when you become a politician, that's just a part of who we are. That doesn't mean you have to be a preacher, right? So I think the segmenting of our society. Look, Americans are the most giving people on the planet. Per capita, we donate more money than any other citizen in any other country, period. Why? Where does that come from? Because we're givers. We're builders, right? We're the ones that have given to the world more than any other nation. We're the one that has built the world more than any other nation. Built for good. That's in us. That's who we are. We are the government. We are the republic. And when you have people like that are trying to destroy it because of personal gain, that's what we're talking about. That needs to be rooted out. And the problem is this: head-on attacks never work. So we have to create that parallel accountability structure. And that's exactly what TAB is. It's like parallel accountability structure. You read the 5 books, you take the course. Course isn't ready yet, but we're working on it. It's trying to get certified. It's taking a long time. And then you take those books and you work your way through. And if we can get those 3,000 people into those 3,147 counties, we can slowly start taking America back through constant movement forward. This is not something that is rocket science. It's real simple. All you need is integrity, and integrity is real simple. Do what you say you're going to do. Don't do what you say you're not going to do. And if you screw up, apologize and make it better. That's integrity. You need that, and you need common sense. As simple as that. This isn't partisan. This isn't my way or your way. This is based on a moral foundation of honesty, integrity, transparency, moral courage, and accountability. That's what we are at Take America Back. That's why we do what we do, because we need to take America back for the people, by the people. Real simple.
Well, General Flynn, who has always said local action has a national impact. Have you had a chance to speak with him yet?
I haven't, but Mel K said she's going to introduce me.
I was going to say, I'm going to introduce you right after the show. I'm going to put you in a group text. But this has been the foundation that he's been banging his fist on the table over since the day I met him in 2016. I happened to be at a conference in Steamboat Springs, a conservative conference, Steamboat Institute, and he was speaking there along with Charlie Kirk. And I got a chance. I didn't know who he was. I'd never heard of General Flynn at that time. President Trump had just gotten the nomination in July. This was August. So I went up to this man who I liked what I heard, and I basically cornered him in this conference room. It was a big, event center. I cornered him in the room for about 30 minutes, and I had a great conversation with him. I said, so how are we going to get this done? Because I truly believe, having worked for President Trump in the early 90s, that I thought, he's a businessman. He gets it. He really cares about America. We went through, 9/11. So I saw how his response was then. I said, this will be a great president. We can get our balance sheet adjusted. We can finally, get a real budget and, get out of debt. General Flynn said, Ann, it's going to literally take you to start, talking to your family, then going next door to your neighbors, and then in your town. He goes, you just have to start locally. It seems very insurmountable, but if we all do it, it's like many hands light work. And he's never deviated from that. And this is what you're saying.
He's absolutely right. The difference with what we're doing is I'm giving you not only the what, but the how. And I'm making it so simple for you. Exactly. I make it so simple. Read the books. Actually, click on the seat finder, find your seat, start reading the book. By the time you get in the office, you'll have read the first book. Then read the second book, third book, fourth book, fifth book. Get the book. Now you have the seat. I send that to everyone free who shows me that they've gotten a seat. I send it to them for free per PDF so they can read it. We're coming out with some other books as well, some other documentation, and we're partnering with some other national brands as well. We're coming out with a debit card that's also sort of tab aligned, and we're gonna so we can spread the word more, because this is real simple. And this isn't because anyone's lazy; it's because we're distracted. If you don't put it in front of them, and I'm the same way. That's the only reason I can do this, because this is how I am, right? If you don't put it right in front of me with click here, do this, and do that, it probably isn't going to happen, because I got something else I need to do right now, which is urgent. That's why we did this. That's why we did this, and it works. And like I said, 40 people in about 40 days who walked into precinct seats and city council. I had a guy call me and said, my mayor's seat was uncontested. It was empty. So I asked if I could be the mayor, and they said, yeah, call us tomorrow. And in that time, they got one of their friends to go in and be the mayor, so he couldn't. But it's sort of crazy to think that there's cities out there with no mayors.
Right. And so don't call, just fill out the form right here, and then boom, you're the mayor. It's that simple.
No warning. No warning.
Yeah, no warning. So you said how to spot vacant and uncontested seats. Let's walk through this right here so that people know what they're, because I really do want some people after the show to go and do this. I'm going to do this. I've been actually talking about potentially getting into politics in the next couple of years, just because I feel like I need it. That's the next step. If I'm going to have true accountability and civic duty and responsibility to my country, this is what you have to do.
Precinct seats are the most powerful in the county as far as politics go, right? And a precinct seat, you don't get paid for it, but it's about 3 to 6 hours a month is all you need for a precinct seat. It isn't that much work. Now you go to city council, you go to school board, precinct committee, that kind of stuff. Then there's there you go. So Ballotopia, simple ballot lookup tool. These are all resources you can find, but
got it.
You literally just need to click and say, I want to apply. Go, if you agree to, you click on the green one there. What's it say? File with the Florida. There you go. Florida GOP. I get a price on those 24 hours. I don't know what. Oh, that's GoDaddy. Oh, I see. That's wrong. If they changed their website, it looks like. Okay, I need to fix that. I need to fix that. Oh my. So they might be running.
I'm glad we were doing this exercise. But you know what? This doesn't surprise me. We're seeing a lot of information get dumped off the internet lately and moved around. Specifically because people are nosing around and stuff now. And I'm sure this was most likely intentional. I doubt it's an error on your end. I think it's absolutely sabotage on their end. That does not surprise me. Yeah.
That's crazy. It just worked the other day. So, because I was looking in Florida, because we're moving there.
Yeah. Oh, where are you going to move?
Hopefully
North?
Boca. Hopefully
Oh,
Boca.
Boca. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
great. You won't be too far from me. I'm
How
about
far are you?
40.
How far are you
I'm
from
about
there?
45, 50 minutes north of Boca.
Oh, perfect. Oh, okay. So you're near West Palm or?
Yeah, I'm just north of West Palm.
Okay, cool. Cool.
Yeah,
Perfect.
so it's I love the area in which I live. It's peaceful.
Yeah.
I live
Yeah.
I live kind of out. I used to be more coastal. I've moved further into where we have more land. We have
Yeah.
I don't have horses, but we have a lot of horses around us, so I get to pretend I have horses on a regular basis and feed them and pet them and ride them.
Awesome. Well,
all
in
the
the end,
glory and no expense. So
exactly. Well, look, when it comes to the precinct seats, when it comes to city council, all these kind of things, people say, well, how much influence can it have? Well, how much influence does it have when you go on Instagram and you complain about President Trump or what happened or what didn't happen? How much influence do you have there? Nothing, right?
nothing.
So
Nothing.
and this is what I've always said. That I have a core values that I've been teaching for 20 years: honesty, integrity, transparency, and adding value by solving problems. If you're talking about a problem and you're not offering a solution, then you're part of the problem. It's just the way I see it.
Yep.
And so everything that I talk about is like, this is the problem and this is what you got to do to fix it. This is the way we can fix it. And it usually comes back down to personal responsibility, right? And being the leader before you get a title, being the leader, taking responsibility before it's given to you. That's where true leadership comes from. I ran companies up to 3,500 employees in 9 countries with 87 locations. And I did it the same way. I expected from those people that they stepped up, they took responsibility, and they were proactive in that way. And I gave them then responsibility and the titles in order to motivate them to go further. And it isn't something that we're doing for show or for accolades or for a title. We're doing it because we have to.
That's right.
This is our republic. This is our,
right.
If we really look at the world right now, there's 61 conflicts in America and in the world right now, 61 wars and conflicts. Every seventh person on the planet right now is in transit between some kind of war, conflict, or they don't have their home. 1 in 7 right now.
Yeah.
And we're sitting in America going, man, Best Buy has a sale next week. I think I'm gonna go over there and buy something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, listen, you're talking to the lady that went with Michael Yon down in the Panama Darien Gap many times and on the border and slept where the cartels are going by 100 yards away in the middle of the night. I mean, I've seen and done it all. I have the trigger scars and the flea scars to prove it. So thank God no snake bites. But that being said, there is so much going on, and we have allowed ourselves to become sort of the victim of bad policies as opposed to, saying, you know what? No, I'm going to go stand at the border and I'm not going to let someone come across my land. And there's ranchers that have done that and farmers that have done that. Some of them with the support of their sheriff, some of them with no support of their sheriff. And this is the dichotomy we find ourselves in. We have got to take that sheriff position as the most critical position in your county. Yeah. That is the
if they haven't been depowered, like in Delaware, he can't even carry a weapon anymore. He's basically a peacekeeper that just, hey, please calm down. That's basically all the sheriff is anymore.
And see, this is the problem that we have not fought back sooner. We've allowed it to get to this point. We've allowed them to ingress into our constitutional republic. So would you agree with me, Stephen, that the constitutional republic, the seats and the republic is still there? It's just being overlaid and occupied by codes and Confederates, really, or should we say, foreign nations.
Legislative blankets. How's that? Legislative
blankets. It's really it's a legislative democracy. Nancy Pelosi didn't lie to us when she said we're a threat to her democracy because we are the republic. And so I feel as if that the Americans don't understand that fundamental difference between who we are and what we have allowed ourselves to become. How would you describe that?
Again, we are the republic. Every person that you see on the street, looking down the street, that's the republic. That's who we are. The democracy is the people who the representative democracy is those who represent us, the republic. That's the difference. So we are a republic, but we live under a representative democracy. That's the people who represent us, the republic. Right. So when we know that, we're like, wait a second, then we have the power, don't we? So if we have the power, what are we doing about it? Nothing. Right? We need to start doing something about it. That's what TAB's all about. It's literally about stepping up. When I went into the military, the only time I've ever felt like I feel now is when I went to war. When I went to war, I knew like this is it. Like this is it. I'm either coming back or I'm not. That's how it feels right now doing TAB. Like this is it. This is it. We're going or we're not.
This is the final battle.
Yeah.
This is the final battle for taking back the republic. And what happens if the republic falls, Stephen?
It won't. It can't. We can't even think about that. We honestly can't. We have to look. Even I get it. You're busy. The bills are exploding. The economy's crashing. All this kind of stuff. Even if you just go to your neighbors, 5 to the right, 5 to the left, and say, let's make a WhatsApp group or a chat group. You two take the next city council meeting. You two take the one after that. We'll take the one after that. You do the one after that, and then we'll feed the information. It's about showing up.
Oh,
You don't have to do anything. You don't have to
yeah.
say anything. Just show up, hold your feet to the fire, light that fire a little hotter. That will force them to speak differently, act differently, and do differently. Just being present.
The difference is, a lot of people did this. A lot of people stepped up. They became precinct committee captains, whatever it is, school board, and they flipped school boards and all that. They thought that if they did it this one time and they were successful, it was good forever. The freedom is eternal is the fight that is eternal. This is a good versus evil battle, and it's going to be the eternal battle. It won't matter how long you're here or how long the earth lasts. It is going to be like this forever. And so people have to get into this mindset that freedom is not free. You served in the military. I have 2 children that served in the military. My father served. My great-great-grandfather was Revolutionary War. This is how I fight. But I also see that sitting here on a TV and talking to people, it's great. It shares information, but I've got to now go do something, because I'm not going to sit and watch it get taken from us. And this is where I think the mindset is. People are disillusioned right now, and they think, well, we tried all that the last time. I'm like, well, but you don't understand. We need everybody. This is all hands on deck. This is a roll call for America, not just a select few elites, to dance with the devil in DC.
Who's the most powerful person in the room? If you look at a room, who's usually the most powerful person most people are looking at? The quietest, most confident, most certain person.
Right.
And that confidence and certainty comes from knowing.
Yes, having the knowledge.
From knowledge. So if you have the knowledge, which you get through the 5 books, right? And if you have that certainty because you're now prepared to lead, you don't have to talk. Leadership comes from within. It's like a nuclear reactor within you. My first book, which was called Unleash Your Humble Alpha, that's what that's all about. It's about alpha on the inside, humble on the outside, right? And it's something that I think a lot of us can embrace. That if we have the knowledge, which is right there in front of us right now, and you embrace that and actually make a difference in your community, you're gonna create a snowball effect, because people will be like, "What are you doing? Hey, how do I get involved?" And there you go, right? 1, 2, 3. Neighbor 1, neighbor 2, neighbor 3, and there you go. It takes very little effort to get the snowball running.
Does partisanship, R or D or independent, does any of that have to have any relevancy in any of this?
No, not at all, because it's all about our honesty, integrity, transparency, moral courage, and accountability for our communities. It's as simple as that. When I make a decision for my community, and I'm making it partisan, I'm making it because it's Democrat or Republican, I'm leaving half the people out unless I'm a 100% Republican or Democrat community, but I'm leaving people out. We are a representative democracy for the Republic. That's what we do. So we have to represent, as politicians, as citizen serving leaders, we have to represent the Republic itself. And again, the Republic, I don't like saying the constituency. Right? I like saying the Republic, because that's what you're representing. That's right. The people, the Republic, for the people, by the people.
All right. So where do you see this country in the next, let's say, how do the midterms look to you right now? Do we have a shot of getting enough people in to actually make a dent in the midterms?
Probably not at that level, but at the local level, we definitely do. Like I said, 3,147
So would you
3,000 empty seats. Get those people in those empty seats. We start rolling it back now.
Okay, would you support the notion of candidates who really stand strong in the 10th Amendment then, that say my state comes first, we are the sovereign state of Florida, for instance?
I think that's a way to collectively activate more citizens. I think that would actually work well.
So I'm not sure what state do you live in currently?
Pennsylvania.
You're in Pennsylvania, okay.
Resident, yeah.
You're a resident of Pennsylvania. Okay. So in Florida, we have a governor who has been, I would say, done a fairly good job with the state of Florida overall. For some of the Maha folks don't think it was enough, but okay, we are, certainly we were more free than the rest of the country. That's for sure. And the gentleman who's running for governor, Byron Donalds, has been endorsed by President Trump. He, was very much, believed George Floyd was wrong. And he's big time AI data centers. He's taken CCP money, all documented, APAC money. And he's missing about 30% of his votes in Congress. So we're looking at somebody who's getting the endorsement of this president that has probably a 40% weight of probably winning in a big primary right now, compared to people like Paul Renner, who was the Speaker of the House under DeSantis' first term, coined it the free state of Florida. He's very 10th Amendment strong. He is anti the big data centers everywhere. I mean, he's really putting Floridians first in every sense of the word. Former commander of the Navy, blah, blah, blah. This is where I think people are just not we are caught up in this social media haze where we're getting hazed all the time by social media, and we don't comprehend this. So what is the sort of buzz line for you to get people to sort of snap out of that? Because President Trump said this guy, I mean, look at Lindsey Graham. I think we can all agree Lindsey Graham is horrific. He's a warmongering pig, Lady Lindsey, whatever you want to call him. How do we get people to snap out of it? What's the key? What's the magic bullet here?
Magic bullet is this. If you're very happy about a social media post or you're very upset about a social media post, you've been manipulated both times.
Right.
Simple as that. So what's the middle? Where's the overlap? Where's the triangulation? News from here, news from here, news from here, news from here. Where does it overlap? That's the truth in the middle, right? We need to ask ourselves, why am I so happy right now? Is it schadenfreude? Am I happy because the other side lost? If that's the case, then that's not the right way to move. If you're sad because your side's losing, that's not the right way to move either. What's the truth? What do we need to do? Right. And the point is that, when you have a truther, whatever you want to call him, who's running, like you just talked about, the commander and all that kind of stuff, then you have another guy that's got big money. Big money wins usually because they have the media coverage. And what does that mean? The only way to beat that is going local. The only way to beat that is door to door. It's the only way to beat it. In Pennsylvania, I have a buddy who ran the entire door to door knock, knock, knock with Stephen, what's his name? Pressler. I forget what his first name is. Scott Pressler. It's funny. Yeah, Scott. That's my brother's name, actually. Can't believe I forgot it. But he ran a knock and drop campaign for Trump for the entire state of Pennsylvania. Like literally door to door, they win. That's the only way to do it, because you're not going to beat big money otherwise. If you don't, I have political consultants that help governors and senators and congressmen run in this. They're like, you don't have a couple $1 million, don't even run. Forget about it. You're just going to waste your time. Like you have no chance unless you go local. And that means that people have to say, you know what, I'm going to take an hour out of my day. I'm going to talk to all my neighbors.
So let's talk about immunizing counties then, because I do agree with you. The local. Collier County, Florida, Scott and Jill Kiley, I must talk about them every single day. They actually stood up an ordinance and got a resolution passed in Collier County, making Collier a Bill of Rights sanctuary county. Unlike a sanctuary city for illegals, they made their count. And this was during COVID in 2021. Stop the masking, stop the shots, allow people to move about freely, all that kind of stuff. And it was very effective, and it started to take fire. So there's movements around the country, around the state of Florida now. And I think other states are doing this as well to do that. I'm going to lead and champion that here in my county where I live, because I believe that is a great way to get your name out there. But if you decide to run for state rep or state senator or county commissioner, people know who you are and they know where you stand. Yeah. And fortunately, we're in a red county, but
well, it's something that if you're in a contested county, one way or the other, you got to learn to work with people. And learning to work with people means one thing: listening. Right? Listening and understanding. Don't cut them off. Listen to them and understand what they're talking about. Let them talk themselves into a frenzy, and then they'll come down eventually, and they usually talk themselves out of the issues anyway. Right? If someone who's that emotional about something, it's emotions. So eventually they'll calm down if you just let them talk.
What's the biggest threat to our republic right now? Is it the agency government, or is it the lack of participation at the local level? It's
the lack of participation at the local level. There's so few of them. Look at Ireland right now.
Yes,
right.
It's beautiful.
That they're not stopping. Right, they're not stopping.
I love it.
It's the locals. It's you. It's me. It's the grocer. It's the welder. We just need to take a couple minutes of our day and do something that matters for the republic, or we're not going to have a republic. And I don't want to be a doomsday guy, but I think we can look at the speed of decline of our republic in the last 10 years is just heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking. It absolutely is heartbreaking. But there's a piece of me, and again, I think I was inspired by President Trump in 2017 to see that we have a potential to, take back what was rightfully ours and has been stolen by corporations and this public-private partnership. They color the agency bureaucracy as this public-private partnership. It's truly evil. It's absolutely evil what they've done. In every single industry, every single agency, it all's been absolutely corrupted. It's the revolving door for themselves. When I look at what's going on across, if you mind, since you're a veteran, can we talk a little bit about the war in Iran and some of the things I see happening? Because the dominoes I see falling in some aspects, the UK didn't want to be involved. Europe didn't want to be involved, but now they're being forced to be involved, right? They're getting drug into this despite the fact they don't want to. I do see part of this is very disruptive to the Federal Reserve and the central banking cabal. I see our dollar, obviously, we all know that it's gone downhill. But on the flip side, it looks as if even though Trump has said no CBDCs, we've created the CBDC by basically neutering Bitcoin, which I'm not a Bitcoiner, but Bitcoin now with the Clarity Act is now tracked, traced, and reported to the IRS, yet another agency to reach in and take what's rightfully yours. So is this war is part of the disguise for the transition to what he wanted to call greatness, or what we would say a new financial system? What is it that you see happening with all of this contextually that relates to Americans and our financial future? Because it's a big deal what's happening over there.
Well, I'm not a specialist in that area, but I do have a lot of intel. And it looks to me from the information that I get, it's China, Russia, and America.
Right.
That's pulling back the curtain on the imperial financial system of the Brits, so to say. You've probably heard that before.
Yep.
Yeah. And now an article came out today by Martin Armstrong. I'm sure you know who he is.
I love him.
I didn't pay the $500 for the article yet, but I'm going to. And it's about the farce of endless money from the Middle East and how that's about ready to crash, that it's all debt and sort of smoke and mirrors. So that's part of it as well, apparently. Look, if America or the West controls 60 to 80% of the oil, they got the power. Whether that's what he's doing, I don't know, but it sure looks like it. We started with Venezuela, put the ships off the coast, listened to every message that went out, who was getting which narco money, where was it going? And then they went out and said, okay, now we're going to move there. We're going to do this. They had, shipping companies in Greece getting narco money, billions of dollars. And they heard that all those ships off the coast of Venezuela before they went in, they were just listening. They were just listening and taking notes and writing down and where the connection is, the spider web. And now they seem to be taking it down. That's what it sounds like. On the other hand, as a soldier, I think it's horrible. I think we can't get a straight answer out of anybody anymore when it comes to war. I remember when I was in the Gulf War, the first one, we had a CNN or whoever with every troop, like they were with us all the time, embedded journalists. Remember that? And now you don't see anything, and even in Ukraine, you don't see anything. You just see up, and everybody has a cell phone. Where's all the videos? It's like we don't know what's going on, and it's all being used against us. So I would rather fight a civil war than a mass peace process. Okay, yeah, amen. Well, that's because people like us, we're used to. Thank you. We're used to tangible action.
Right.
Right. You're a soldier. You pick up a weapon. You go fight.
That's right.
When you're a civilian, what do? The only thing you can do is take local action. And I say it again, lead where you live.
Right. Lead where you live.
That's all we can do.
So walk us through a scenario where you're standing on this right here as a servant leader in your local community, whether you're a precinct committeeman or you're the mayor or vice mayor or whatever. And you've got people that disagree with the policy and they want to do something that really is an affront to this. How do we peacefully engage them? Because I think that we've allowed conversations in addition to the infiltration of big money, but taking the money out of it. If we could actually stop the money, a lot of people just don't have the backbone to stand up and fight for what's really right. So how do we prevent the loss and sort of the slippage back into this Marxist totalitarian state in which we find ourselves? Well,
you're going to be, if you take a precinct seat as a lone ranger in a fully, activist laden sort of a precinct, you're going to have a hard time. But the only way to do that is to stay calm and certain of what you are. You cannot vote because someone's trying to swing you to vote. You can't, raise your hand because someone's trying to, leverage you, or, we're going to call your mortgage in right now or whatever. You have to stand strong, calm, cordial, and ask questions. Okay, you want to do that? How does it align with the U.S. Constitution? Like, call them, just ask them real questions. Like, how does that align with the Constitution? And they'll go, well, it doesn't matter. Well, actually, before I vote, I really want to know from you, because you seem to have the knowledge on the information here, how that aligns with the Constitution, because that's why I'm here. If I talk like that to somebody, they're going to get really frustrated, right? They're really frustrated. But they're going to have to fess up, or I'm not voting. That's our strength right there. The calmness, the cordiality. Always ask them. You don't ever ask a question to catch them at something. Ask them a real question that you really need to know in order to make a decision. That's how we stay calm. Because if you know how it is, well, what do you think about this? That's just more conflict. We need to stay away from the conflict. We need to seek unity and ask questions that we truly need to know. Okay, I understand what you're talking about. I get where you're going with this. And in a way, it sort of makes sense. But what I need to do in order to give with my conscience, to vote with my conscience for our Constitution, I need to know how it aligns with the Constitution.
And that's
Please
where
explain.
people, I think people don't fundamentally challenge that at the local level.
Well, the book, Now You Have the Seat, that I just brought
Yep.
out, has even cheat sheets you can use. All these statements that I just made, it's right there. Tells you exactly
Oh,
what
great.
to say, how to say it, when to say it.
Okay, so basically, you are the add water and stir guy to get people to go back into local governance, get involved in civic duty. You basically laid out a formula. It's action steps. So let's just review this one more time. I'm going to pull this up here.
Okay.
Let's see here where we are. Yep, right here. So let's go back to your website and make sure that we start at the beginning, because that's where you got to start. But when people hit your website, join tab. It's streaming on the ticker below, by the way, folks, for those watching. Jointab.us. You've got books, the course, which you say is almost ready, Citizen Servant Leaders course and book. So when people go to sign up for this, they will be notified how? Will they get an email saying welcome, or what's going to happen?
Yeah, they'll get an email welcoming. They can support us as well. It starts at $6 a month to help us build the institution, and then there'll be giveaways and sort of benefits for that as we roll it out further. Okay. And then they can support us. They can sign up for the wait list. They can sign up for the newsletter. There should have been a pop-up. You probably closed it before.
I did. I closed it before. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So no, don't worry about it. There's a pop-up for the newsletter. Well, if you sign up in any capacity at all, you're getting a newsletter either way.
Great.
And and the newsletter, we cover local politics, wins, seats, people's experiences, local, like last time we covered all of the newspapers closing across America because there's no readers anymore, and what that does to the news, that it actually consolidates news to larger media agencies and how we can fight that, all these kind of things. So it's
cool.
It's
got merch.
Yeah, we got merch as well. Yes. And that's
Love
actually
the
a
merch.
veteran-owned company that does that for us.
Oh, fabulous.
So I opted out of Shopify and all that kind of stuff. I wanted a veteran-owned company, and we are coming out with a movement for veterans and first responders and anyone who ever wore a uniform called the Sentinel program, which will be Tab Sentinel.
Love
and
it.
That'll be something, because look, Sentinels, all of these, ex first responders and military and veterans and even 9/11 operators, they're the first one on the scene, right?
Yep.
They know how to lead. They know how to lead under pressure. They know how to act under pressure. They're the people we need stepping up now as well. So we're starting a Sentinel program as well.
I think it's fantastic. Really appreciate what you're doing, Stephen. Thank you so much for your time today. God bless you. I'm looking forward to, you've actually inspired me to actually take the next step. I've been talking about hemming and hawing for a few years with my family. And it's, the show is not going the way I thought it was going to go. I thought more people would be more activated. And so the plan is, God gave us brain and discernment and, a responsibility. We were blessed with this second covenant nation. I truly, truly believe that. Amen. And General Jackson, thank you for being here. He says, thank you for your fight. Love that name, General Jackson.
Yeah, General Jackson.
Anyhow, so I appreciate everything you're doing, Stephen. God bless you. Thank you so much. And please thank your wife for, taking a post next to you. It's a lot to come on camera and just put yourself out there. So good to see you working together as a team. Great job.
Yeah, thank you so much. She's awesome.
All right.
Definitely.
I appreciate you. I'll let you go and get on with your day, and I'll say goodbye to our guests.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye. All right. Wow. What a tremendous guy. Like I said, I followed this guy for about a year. He popped in my feed when I was doing my guilty pleasure of following all my Instagram animal farms that, sort of, it's a nice thing to do at the end of the day, wrap up with some funny animal videos. Who doesn't like those? Just to sort of desensitize your brain and just go to La La Land, go to sleep. And he popped in my feed. I said, interesting. These algorithms are pretty smart. They know something like this would be attractive to me in terms of intellectual stimulation. And so it was about time that I got him on for an interview. And I do appreciate everything he and his wife are doing. It's a true honor to see people step up, put themselves out publicly. And I'm glad people like Alex Jones, who I respect, picked up his story and put it out there and got the views. This is how we take America back, one person at a time, one civic duty job at a time, and one day at a time. And of course, a lot of trust and faith in God. And thanks to God for even giving us the opportunity to have that opportunity to serve our country. It is all about that at the end of the day. He put us on this planet, and we have responsibility to it. And I think government most of the time gets in the way and creates the problems that we're in. In fact, it's all of the time they get in the way and create the problems that we have. And we've got to shrink it, but we can do it by getting ourselves inside of it and sort of almost being like that. I don't want to say suicide vest, but we can sort of detonate and we can streamline and we can just get rid of a lot of stuff. And I'd like to see that happen across the agencies. We were promised that from this president. We thought the Department of Education would be gone by now. And Linda McMahon, if she did a good job, would be out of a job. Well, that thing is still steaming straight ahead into a cataclysmic indoctrination camp of epic proportions. I'm just disenchanted with what's going on in DC, but we can't be worried about that. We've got to take it back, take it right back to our local communities. Start when you're like a town council, dog catcher, school board member, committee precinct, and then work your way up into the state legislature and, of course, the governor's role. So, and you want to find people like-minded for all those jobs. Thanks again, always, for being here. Appreciate you. God bless you, and God bless our great country.
Food security or food sovereignty. Every time we buy food, we choose. Glyphosate exposure is exploding, and people are asking, why is food so expensive? This is why we do what we do. Organic fields, thriving orchards, the purest ingredients straight from the earth. From our farms to your family. We do the testing so you don't have to. You save time, you save money, and our regenerative farms continue to grow. It's time to remove what does not belong. Rebuild with cleaner inputs. Support the farmers with the future in mind. This isn't a trend. It's a shift. We still have a voice. We still have a choice. To vote with our dollars for a healthier America today. Tap the link.
Are you ready to take your health back? At Vandersteelhealth.com, I trust Purium's powerful superfoods to fuel my body with clean, plant-based nutrition. And in a world filled with toxins, Biomedic is designed to help support your body's natural detox process, even from glyphosate exposure. Real nutrition, targeted support, no junk. Go to Vandersteelhealth.com and take control of your health today.